Foil packet meals are one of the easiest camping dinners. They're so delicious, pretty hard to mess up, and great for beginner campers. So today I'm back with 3 brand new foil packet meals for you to take on your next camping trip. A while ago, I uploaded a video all about foil packet meals, so I'll link to that in the description below because it's full of all the tips, tricks, how-tos, and some recipes. And today, if you're looking for some more variety, want some new ideas, you're in the right place. So we have a Cajun shrimp foil packet meal, a Southwestern chicken foil packet meal, and a turkey barbecue meal that I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it and share with you some additional tips and answer some questions that I got on the previous video. So let's dive right in. Really, with foil packet meals, you don't need much. We have some metal tongs. We're gonna use these to move the foil packet meals around as they're over the campfire coals. Heavy duty aluminum foil. You need the heavy duty stuff for this. A cutting board and a knife, and basically a plate and a fork. That's it. So first up, we're going to assemble the Cajun shrimp foil packet. We have some red potatoes, broccoli, shrimp, butter, Cajun seasoning, and then some lime to put on top after. Really simple. It's surprising how delicious this one is. So I'm gonna chop these potatoes first. We got the broccoli, diced potatoes, you know, just bite-sized pieces. Obviously, the bigger the pieces, the longer they're gonna take to cook. Some shrimp and the Cajun seasoning. This is actually a Cajun cowboy seasoning. It smells so good. Yeah. Now we're gonna assemble, and you're gonna need your heavy duty aluminum foil. I always do 3 layers of aluminum foil per packet. That just, you know, really holds in that heat and that steam a lot better, and it prevents it from breaking all over your campfire. So we're gonna moving things around with these tongs, and I don't want these tongs to puncture just one piece of flimsy foil and then my food goes everywhere. So that's why we do multiple layers of the foil. One of the questions that I got a lot was just in regards to cooking on the aluminum foil. And so I did test using parchment paper as your first layer. And so if you don't want your food directly on the aluminum foil, you can use a layer of parchment paper first. And so that's what I'm gonna show you here today. So I like to actually get all my pieces laid out in a little stack. So I'm gonna do that. This thing is broken. 1, 2, 3. And then, like I said, you can just put your food right on this, but if you want, you can also do a piece of parchment paper. Not wax paper, by the way. Those are not the same thing. You definitely want parchment paper, not wax paper. Okay. All right. So then it's just a simple matter of putting in all the ingredients and building your packets. You can make them, you know, as big as you'd like, but just keep in mind the bigger they are, the longer they're gonna take to cook. So I kind of like to not go too massive with the foil packets, but I'm just gonna put some broccoli and then some potatoes in there. And then I'm gonna put my shrimp right on top. This is deveined shrimp, but the shell is on, which I just kind of like. I think it adds a little bit more flavor, but you can do peeled and deveined shrimp for this as well. Then I got my Cajun seasoning. Load that up. I always add about a tablespoon of butter cut into smaller pieces to each foil packet meal. And this just makes it taste so good. It gives it a little bit of fat that just, you know, helps with the whole cooking process. So about a tablespoon, and I just kind of drop little slivers right like this into the foil packet. All right, that's it. Now I'm gonna fold this up. So for the first layer of parchment paper, there's really not a whole lot you can do there. I just kind of tuck it in as best I can. And then with my first layer of foil, bring the 2 longest edges together and roll them shut, just like this. And then fold in the sides, really get everything in there. Okay. Now you're gonna take the foil packet, flip it seam side down, and then repeat that same folding process. So long edges in, fold it down, bring in the sides, and one more time. All done, ready to be cooked. We just started the fire so we can get that kind of going, get the coals nice and hot, because we're not gonna put this on like raging flames. So we need the fire to kind of die down a bit. But the next one I'm gonna make is the turkey barbecue. We have some onion, those red potatoes, carrots, barbecue sauce, salt, pepper, butter, and ground turkey. You can also use ground beef if you prefer. So let's get that going. Oh, this box. I just use the fork to just drop pieces of the meat right in there. That way I don't have to get my hands all dirty with raw meat. Try to avoid that as much as possible. And then the last thing here before the butter is I'm just gonna drizzle some barbecue sauce right on there. So I'll put more barbecue sauce on top after it's cooked with some sour cream. I'm also gonna put a little bit of salt, just a tiny bit. Again, you can always add more after, and some pepper. And lastly, we just got the butter. Oh, yeah. All right, now we just roll this one right up. The last one that I want to show you is just my favorite foil packet. It's the Southwestern chicken foil packet. It is a little bit more involved than the other two, but it is worth it. Like, it is so incredible. So this particular foil packet meal, I think, is best if you plan to make it on your first night of camping. And here's why. There is a step where you need to marinate the chicken. And so I actually prefer to do this step at home and then cook it later that night at camp. For example, this morning I diced up the chicken, got it in the marinade, left it in the fridge until I was packing the cooler, put it in the cooler right on top of some ice, and so it's ready to go that night at camp. You don't have to deal with doing that. In addition, it does also have some black beans and some corn. So I have rinsed and drained these two things at home this morning. Again, just store them cold in the cooler, and now everything is pretty much ready to assemble at camp. I diced up some tomatoes. You can use diced, like canned tomatoes with some green chilies. That is also really delicious. And then we also utilize these pre-cooked rice packets. Got some shredded cheese that we're gonna put on top after it's cooked. It's gonna be so melted and delicious. And extra taco seasoning. Don't stress about writing this down. All of the recipes for everything we talked about are actually in the description box below the video, so you can print those off and take them with you. But yeah, this particular recipe is best if you do a little bit of prep work at home in the morning and then drive to camp, set everything up, and cook that night. So now I'm just gonna assemble it out here at camp. Got all the foil packet meals I'm gonna cook assembled, ready to go. We have the foil packets on campfire coals, so we let the fire die down a little bit, but it's still very hot. Put the foil packets right on there, and they typically cook for about 40 minutes, and I flip them every 10 minutes, making sure that I'm flipping in all directions and just getting everything really well cooked and rotated so that everything is cooking evenly. While I have some time, I thought I would answer some common questions that I get when it comes to these foil packet meals. The question that I get a lot is, can I make these ahead of time at home? I personally don't do that. So I don't have a lot of experience doing that. I know some people have said in the comments that they've done that and it worked great. I always am like showing you what I'm eating and filming stuff when I'm at camp, so I tend to make them here at camp. I think if you want to make them ahead of time, I would make them in the morning that you're leaving for camp and cook them that night. I wouldn't really make them much more ahead than that, just because I think when you start combining ingredients, things tend to go bad a lot faster. And so I think assembling them in the morning at home and then cooking them that night should be fine. And it would definitely make that day a lot easier, because I know that first day at camp, you're packing things up at home and then you're unpacking at camp, setting everything up, and kind of preparing meals might be a lot. So making them at home first will definitely make things a lot easier, but I wouldn't make them like days in advance. Can you freeze foil packet meals before they've been cooked? I have never done that, so I can't say for certain. I think that vegetables in particular tend to get kind of mushy and gross if you freeze them and then thaw them. So I'm not really sure how that would work after they've been cooked. So yeah, I've never done that. Can't say for certain whether or not that will work. Can you cook the foil packets on the grill? And yes, absolutely. You can cook these foil packets on a gas grill. Just preheat the grill to about 425. And again, you're gonna cook them for the same amount of time, keep flipping them, rotating them. The nice thing about foil packet meals is you can always just remove them from the heat, carefully open them up and check on doneness. And if they need more time, just put them back on the grill or back on the campfire coals. Now, cooking times definitely vary depending on how big you make your foil packets, how big or small you chop your ingredients, and how hot your fire is, which is of course, hard to get a consistent temperature. So 40 minutes is usually where things fall for me, but again, just always check, and if you need more time, just throw them on there. When the foil packets are cooking, you should hear a faint sizzling sound. It shouldn't be a very loud crackling sound. That's kind of how you know your heat is probably a little bit too hot and you want to dial things back a little bit, move some coals out of the way. You can cook these foil packets with briquettes as well. So we have campfire coals, have your campfire die down a bit, you can put the foil packets on that. You can put them on the grill, and you also can put them on briquettes. Preheat your briquettes in a little chimney starter, pour them out in your fire pit, lay them into a nice little, even layer, and then put your foil packets right on top of that. Foil packet meals are just so flexible and fun and really hard to mess up. So don't stress too much. Just enjoy the process of cooking outdoors and having a good meal with friends and family, and you'll be just fine. It's been 40 minutes. I can smell them. They smell delicious. So I'm going to take them off of the coals. Just set them, oh dear, up here for a second. Foil packet meals, they're just so flexible, and that's one of the reasons that I love them. So let's eat. But the problem is, what is what? Just, be careful. There's a lot of heat and steam that might come out of these. So when you're unrolling them, just watch your hands. Like I said, if you open them up and they're not done, you can just put them right back on there. The first one that I'm undoing is the Southwest chicken. Oh my gosh, look at all that. So quickly, while it's hot, I want to get some shredded cheese on there, just like this. So loads of fresh cheese on there. Oh yeah. And then I'm gonna quickly fold it back up and try to get all that steam and heat to sort of melt the cheese. All right, so I'm gonna set this one aside to let that cheese melt, and we'll continue the unveiling process. Cajun shrimp with potatoes and broccoli. That looks amazing. I have some fresh lime. So I usually put a little bit of fresh lime on there, and then some additional Cajun seasoning if it needs it, salt, pepper, and then I serve this one with some sour cream. Last one here is the turkey barbecue. Even though I know what's inside, I always get so excited. I feel like I'm opening a present or something. That smells amazing. So for this one, I usually will add some additional barbecue sauce, salt, pepper, and then sour cream. Oh, a butterfly. I thought that was a fly. I was about to be like, yeah. Now we're coming back to the Southwest chicken, really kind of the star of the show. Oh my gosh, come look at this melted cheese. So just the heat is enough to melt that cheese. Wow. I'm gonna put some fresh cilantro on there. Just break it with my hands. Oh yeah. And then I also serve this one with a little bit of sour cream, and that's it. This is it. 3 really easy and delicious foil packet meals. I am so excited to dive into this. So are the flies. But if you like this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more camping resources, and make sure to check that description box below the video for printable recipes and just other resources and tips when it comes to camping. I'll see you in the next one.